morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio. So today, we're going to be having a look at a new white Kyurem. And you know what's super weird, right? What's super weird is I almost finished editing this video before I realised it is in fact regular Kyurem, not white Kyurem. So I'm correcting myself now. I can't promise I haven't made the odd reference to white Kyurem throughout the rest of this video. I apologise. I have no idea why it took me so long. It doesn't really matter. It's a great card, but it's a great Kyurem card. Now, being a water Pokemon means you get a whole bunch of advantages, which just go to make it a little bit more great. We've got Aqua Patch to accelerate energy, that might be important. We got Brooklet Hill to search it out, that might be important. We've got Quagsire to move energy to it, that might be important. And we're hitting weakness on Blacephalon, that at least at the moment is the best deck in the format, which is quite redonkulously good. Now, it's got 130 HP, which is actually really relevant, because it means you won't get one-hit KO'd by Duskmane Necrozma, because you have a weakness to metal. It also means you won't get two-hit KO'd by Registeel, although do remember, they can all just use Down Mize if they're absolutely desperate. So it's actually got a little bit of bulk here, plus, of course, it will survive a hit from Zoroark, which is important, because Zoroark is still everywhere. The retreat cost of 2 is a little bit awkward, but it's not really the end of the world. We can live with it. So, what does it do? Well, the first attack we aren't going to spend much time on because the first attack sucks. Search your deck for a water energy, reveal it, and attach it to this Pokemon. Now, to be fair, if you've got one energy on there, you use this attack, and then turn 2, you attach another energy, and then you're ready to go. It's not complete and utter garbage, because you can use this if you're really desperate in the early game. But I feel about this like I feel about stuff like Reshiram GX. You're basically saying to your opponent, hey, I'm going to use my attack to attach an energy. I hope you don't KO me in the meantime, because I'm now giving you a free hit. Not a fan. But the second attack, the second attack is good. Discard 2 water energy from this Pokemon. I should mention our translator, shockingly enough, here is the lovely David Hochmann. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, automatic paralysis. And here's the thing. It's not supposed to be this easy. This is, like, ridiculous. Like, genuinely ridiculous. In a second, I'm going to run you through the recent history of paralysis, and you'll see, if you haven't seen already, how silly this is. But for the time being, let me just mention Naganadel and Quagsire. And look, I did a video recently about a Suicune deck that played Naganadel and Quagsire. I'll pop a link to that one in the description so you can go and have a look. But essentially, Naganadel attaches energy from the discard pile to Naganadel, and Quagsire moves water energy as often as you like to your active Pokemon. So every turn you discard 2 energy, but if you've got 2 Naganadel and a Quagsire, you can just get those 2 energy back. Because you use both the Naganadel to get both the energy back from the discard, and then you use Quagsire to move it up, and then that's it. You've got your 2 energy back, which is like ludicrously easy. And they're both stage 1s, and it works. I'm not talking about, Magnezone, because I mentioned Magnezone in a few videos, and Magnezone is one of those that looks kind of good, but Magnezone isn't good that often. It doesn't see that much play. Naganadel Quagsire is good, has seen play, has been proven to be good. It is genuinely viable. And let's not forget you've also got Aqua Patch here, which will give you extra energy attachments. So if you don't get your Naganadel up fast enough, or you've only got one Naganadel, you can just Aqua Patch one Naganadel, and then you're rolling. And the great thing is, Aqua Patch only attaches to the bench, and Naganadel only attaches to itself, but that's okay, we don't mind about that, because Quagsire moves it into the active. And look, if you've got one Naganadel and one Quagsire, it's 2 stage 1s, it's really not that difficult. Especially bearing in mind you've got Brooklet Hill, and these are all water Pokemon. I know Naganadel isn't, but Quagsire and White Kyurem are. This will help you with consistency. Then you can just attach from your hand the other energy. This is legit every turn paralysis. This is actual, factual, every turn paralysis. You have to discard 2 water energy, and sometimes this is annoying. But it's really not that annoying in this context, because it's quite easy to get the energy back on. Naganadel, Quagsire, and maybe Aqua Patch. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all you need. This is ludicrous. And if we have a look at some of the recent cards that have gotten paralysis, they are nowhere near as easy as this. So, the last good ones we had were Excelgor and Vanillux. They are the last 2 that really did give us every turn consistent paralysis. Now, Vanillux let you flip 2 coins if one of them was heads paralysis. You played this with Victini, and essentially you had a 15 in 16 chance of paralysis. Technically speaking, not automatic, but you'd have to flip double tails twice in a row. You would generally get it. And we've seen Excelgor be really good. Excelgor stage 1, double colorless energy, 50 plus paralysis and poison. And then you shuffle it into your deck, so you've got to have another Excelgor ready on the bench, and you've got to draw into your double colorless energy. Doable, and this deck was good, but it wasn't something that was super easy. You had to really make sure you worked this properly. And since then, we've had a bunch of stuff that gets automatic paralysis, but it's not that easy. So we've got Raichu, who can paralyze on the ability, but it's a when you evolve up, it's a one-time deal, and it's your ability, and you've got to have a bench sitter to do it. And then once it's evolved up, that's it. Still saw some play with Stoutland, mind you, just to show you quite how ridiculous automatic paralysis is, but didn't set the world on fire. We had Mega Beedrill, which you had to discard all the energy attached to it, 2 grass, and then automatic paralysis. And we had Mega Turbo at the time, and then we later got the Venusaur from Shining Legends, which made it count as double. But you're talking about your occasional item or an entire stage 2, and it just never worked. We recently got Ampharos in Lost Thunder, but that's a stage 2 that sits on the bench, and you've got to Lost Zone 2 energy from your hand, so sooner or later you're going to run out of energy, and you might not have the energy in your hand, and it's a stage 2, it's a bit awkward. Kyurem, White Kyurem, has 2 gigantic advantages over all of these other cards we've just mentioned. Number 1, it's a basic. Let's say 3 advantages. Number 2, it actually does decent damage. 110 will basically 2-hit KO everything, and if it won't, Choice Band and Shrine of Punishment. There we go, now you're 2-hit KOing everything. I mean, seriously, right? With Shrine of Punishment and a Choice Band, you're 2-hit KOing a Magikarp and Wailord Tag Team GX. That's how much damage you can be doing here. And thirdly, we can do this every turn. This isn't Lost Zoning 2 energy from our hand on a stage 2 Pokemon. This isn't discarding all the energy attached to a Pokemon without much good energy acceleration. Heck, this isn't even just shuffling a stage 1 and a special energy into your deck and trying to find them again next turn. This is, you discard 2 water energy, but with a Naganadel, a Quagsire, and 1 from your hand, you're sorted. 2 Naganadel and a Quagsire, and stage 1s are not that difficult to get out. Seriously, Naganadel Blacephalon is like the best deck in the format right now. It is not that difficult to get a couple of stage 1s out. Then you are just legitimately paralyzing every single turn while doing 110 damage. And yes, your opponent can get out of paralysis. Most people are playing Ace Roller at the moment, everyone's playing Guzma, and some people are even playing stuff like Escape Rope or Switch. But firstly, your opponent's got to find those resources. Secondly, they've got to have them every turn, and sooner or later they're going to run out. And every time they cannot find them, you get a free hit. If they can find those resources, they can only attack you after you take a KO. That was one of the great things about Excelgor. You could time it so they got KO'd from poison coming into your turn, so they never actually got a KO. That was one huge advantage Excelgor had. But here you've got a non-GX that essentially only gets attacked when it takes a KO. This is nuts. Bearing in mind, you're basically trading a non-GX for either a GX, a tag team GX, or just a non-GX. The prize race is in your favour, and oh yeah, you're paralysing every turn. Now, there are some things like Granbull, for instance, or the other white Kyurem, that do have 130 HP and you're only hitting 110. And 110 is lower than we'd like. That's a bit of an issue. But they only get to attack you when they draw something like a Guzma. Or when they draw something like an escape rope or a switch. And they ain't playing all that many of them. And then you're golden, ladies and gentlemen. You're absolutely golden. This is a 5 Wossie card. This will be a deck. I cannot sit here right now in December, mid-December, 18th if you really want to be pedantic, and tell you that it is going to be a phenomenal deck. I can't tell you that. It might not be. Maybe there's too many switching options being played in decks. But I can tell you that automatic paralysis has always been proven to be great. And I can tell you that this is the best automatic paralysis we've had since Vanillux and Excelgor. It's crazy good. I think it is going to be good, but I know it is going to see play. And with Naganadel and Quagsire, it's just, well, they're the only Pokemon you need, and we've got them in the format right now. A little bit crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do for me. What I want to know from you is, are you as hyped about this card as I am? Let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays. We hit 3,000 subs today. Woo! Go add to that number, ladies and gentlemen. I'll love you for it. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.